this is like what we understand to be Star Wars. Like the idea that like that only came from George Lucas, that only George Lucas holds the key for what we understand to be Star Wars is just untrue. And I think the prequels are an excellent example of that. I mean, the idea that like when you're hiring a director, that everyone is sitting in there waiting for George Lucas and not for the person who's going to know to hire Ralph McQuarrie, that's the problem. That's the misogyny and the problem with the auteur myth as it stands today, because they're not thinking this is the person that will hire the right people and this is the person that will be able to create the lookbooks and direct people to get them to that place. They're just thinking, do you have all the answers? And the truth is that nobody does, and anybody that says they do is lying.
So something odd appeared on Saturday, and I want to talk about it. It appeared on Instagram. This is an Instagram post by ILM about job openings at their Mumbai or Sydney divisions for animation, etc. As you know, ILM is the special effects department of Lucasfilms, and it's separate, but it's not. Anyway, I want to talk a little bit about this. They use the Acolyte, the old logo, for advertising for animators, etc. at those divisions. Now we know they're closing the Singapore office. Okay, and they're trying to help people find jobs. Okay, in Singapore and or relocate to India or Australia. I have to say this. I don't understand it because Disney's already starting to literally cancel finished content. The Nautilus streaming show that they were going to put on is canceled, and other things. So Disney is literally taking things they have done that are ready to go and just saying, we're going to shelve it and take the loss and take the tax credit or take the tax credit. So why are they using the Acolyte? After looking at it and talking amongst ourselves at Cameron Pasha's Patreon, it looks to be a placeholder. Again, there's no reason for Disney to go forward with this. No one wants it. You've got people like Star Wars Theory who, I'm sorry, as much as I respect him, and I know he doesn't like the sequels, but he also is friends with people that really are fans of Star Wars, and they're grifters, and I mean the geeks and gamers community. And I really, that sort of kind of ruins my respect right there for him. But the big dogs will network as long as they can make money off each other, which is what that's about. I mean, look, YouTubers will stab each other in the back as quickly as they possibly can for a buck, and that's the bottom line. And it's not even an industry; it's a grift. There aren't any rules to it, so not that there should be. I don't believe, but there's no honor either. Okay, so I want you guys to understand that. What we can discern just from the public and the stuff that's out there, the legal documents that I've been able to pull off online, the annual report that's on the Company's House website for Blue Stockings UK, which is the Acolyte shell company, there's something not right about this. When you've got Karen McCarthy's lawyers telling reporters that the Acolyte doesn't make any sense, and Disney's slow rolling them right now, shining them on, there's no Acolyte. I don't think Disney knows what to do about it. And to me, when I look at it, there's no money, I think, to pay Karen McCarthy what she was worth, which is why I think they're doing this. Now, why is this happening? Why would ILM use the Acolyte old logo to advertise a job? It's a placeholder. Okay. Skeleton Crew's done. Ahsoka may or may not get a second season, but we're already starting the first season of Ahsoka. So they don't really have anything to advertise, and it could have been a mistake. If you look at who liked this, Holocron Keeper, Leland Chee is probably the guy that should be the lore master at Lucasfilm. You could eliminate Pablo Hidalgo's job, and Leland Chee would have it. He liked it. So to me, it looks like people aren't necessarily understanding the full story, and they're not aware of what's going on with this. But I think Disney is afraid that they're going to get exposed should the lawsuit, Karen McCarthy lawsuit, go to discovery. Now, what would get exposed? Kathleen Kennedy's incompetence and criminal activity, in my opinion, which shows Disney's incompetence at watching what she was doing, at basically putting the kibosh on this, and the fact that they couldn't control her. That's what I think the problem is with this. And it's very interesting to me that the word has not gotten down to ILM marketers that they should not have used this.
I can't believe this. You're actually kicking me out?
Do you want me to draw you a picture?
We'd be here all night.
Get out! Off you go. Bye-bye. Crooked word. Your tongue could open a wine bottle.
Not an agent. It's not like she worships the devil.
Well, she doesn't have to. He worships her.
And really, when you look at it, the out-of-control behavior of Kathleen Kennedy proves that A, she could not be fired for cause. B, neither Iger nor Chapek could figure out a way to slow her roll, because the more they put their foot down, the more obnoxious she got. I mean, look, she's the one that went off on Iger when she was having that first face-to-face meeting, talking about basically the bomb that was Indy 5. She basically tried to blame him for all the problems at Disney, and she would not talk about her failures with Indy 5 at all. Okay, she pissed him off. But this is what he's dealing with as far as the way Kennedy behaved before they did what they did, okay, which was take over Lucasfilm from her, ban her from the network, internet network, and basically ban her from coming onto the campus without A, permission, and B, a security guard following her around. Okay. So that they did what they had to do. But again, the fact of the matter is she knew she couldn't be fired, so she went off out of control. Okay, so she hires this woman, Leslie Headland, who worked for Harvey Weinstein for 6 years. Harvey Weinstein, notorious blackmailing thug in Hollywood. People turn a blind eye. Even one of my favorite actresses, Meryl Streep, who was one of Carrie Fisher's best friends, she turned a blind eye to him. Okay, when it became untenable, then he got thrown under the bus. Okay, Leslie Headland helped with that, even though, in my opinion, she should probably be in jail next to him. Because look, she was an assistant. She enabled the prick. Okay, she enabled him. Okay, and Kennedy knowingly let her in to Lucasfilm to develop this asinine show called The Acolyte. Femme-centric, adult themes. They even apparently, supposedly, hired an intimacy coordinator because there was actually going to be sex in it. There are now rumors that they got the okay for a second season. One has to wonder what you would smoke to come up with that, considering there's little proof that there's even a show beyond IMDb, which can be manipulated anyway, 6 ways of sundown. Anybody with an IMDb Plus, IMDb Pro account can go in there and manipulate the information on the Acolyte or anything, okay? And the problem is that we haven't seen the sizzle reel. The timeline for filming it went from in the middle of filming the 3rd episode at the last part of December to finishing it in May. And like the 5th episode was finished a week after they said they were done filming. They were in the middle of filming the 4th episode. Nothing they've said about this makes sense. The actors at Celebration don't even know what it's about. Yet we have dark web fan sites saying it was okay for a second season. Ahsoka hasn't been okay for a second season, and we're just into the first episode, 2 episodes. And it won't be, they don't okay streaming shows for a second season until you get to the end episode. So let's talk about other things. The lawsuit. Lucasfilm sued for egregious acting of producer Karen McCarthy. Why'd they fire her? Why? Because if she had known what was really going on with it, she'd have raised a red flag, and they know it. What they were trying to do was make the show and force Disney to cough up the money to finish it. Okay, it was a Harvey Weinstein move, and the money probably came from, because there's account books saying that Headland got 50,000 euros here, 50,000 euros there from Lucasfilm, but 100,000 euros isn't going to make a sizzle reel unless you're doing a fan film. Okay, they said they had $50 million. If you look at the annual report of Blue Stocking UK LLC, which is the Acolyte shell company, they said they had 35 million pounds, which is the equivalent to about $50 million. Now, we know for a fact that Kennedy was told before Celebration to take your goodbyes, and instead she shoved the Acolyte in people's faces. Where'd she get the $50 million? If there was indeed $50 million, but because they offered Karen McCarthy $5,000 to go away, there's no fucking way they did have $50 million. Okay, so what's going on here? Were they fudging the books to follow Andor? Okay, were they following? Were they duplicating the books in a way? They're not. Look, I heard that Hollywood, the executives in Hollywood are saying there are 2 Disney shows, and the books are very much alike. They're not verbatim alike, but they're enough alike to make people go, what? And it looks to me that money got skimmed off of Andor. Money got skimmed off of Indiana Jones 5. Money got skimmed off maybe of Kenobi, maybe. And money came from places that were illegal. Okay, because that's the Harvey Weinstein thing. So, what do we know about the Acolyte? Nothing. We didn't get to see the sizzle reel. We know that they said they had $50 million, but there's no way to prove it. We know that there are books, there's funny bookkeeping in the UK between 2 Disney shows, and I'm assuming that it's The Acolyte and Andor. We know that Leslie Headland fired Karen McCarthy for a reason, and it was what we think was she hired McCarthy. Kennedy went back to Iger and said, to Chapek and said, I would like to go ahead and make this. And Chapek said, we're not giving you the green light. It was too late. McCarthy had already said she would take the job. And the girls, the witches of Burbank, decided to keep it in the group. And McCarthy wasn't part of the group. She was outside. And the group would be Kennedy, Headland, Campos, Rhonda Hjort, Rain Roberts, and think of some other people. Okay, that's who was part of the Acolyte inner circle. Okay, they fired McCarthy, and when she asked to be paid, they gave her $5,000 to go away. And then she sued them. And that's why we now are looking at them going, but you had $50 million. Wasn't there somebody there saying, you need to give her more? And McCarthy's lawyers are now saying stuff to reporters. There's something fraudulent going on with the Acolyte. Yet we have ILM using it as a placeholder to advertise a job. Okay, so what I want you guys to do is not listen to people who think this is a real show. Because, again, when you've got people who are lawyers with investigative skills and people they hire who actually have the resources to actually dig into these things, going, this isn't a real show, there's something odd about it, don't listen to the people who say it's real. Again, you've got a dark web fan site saying they okayed the second season, when the first season we're not even sure if that's a real show. Okay, this is called being reasonably skeptical, because there's nothing about it that follows standard procedure that Disney usually does with a streaming show. You get to see the sizzle reel. You get a trailer. You get marketing, okay? And we're not getting any of that with The Acolyte. And the fact of the matter is, if it was a fully funded show, and this is the simplest thing that you're going to ask people, is how come Karen McCarthy was only given $5,000 to go away? Okay. And why was she booted out in the first place if it was a real show? Okay. These are the things you need to ask. All right. So when you see ILM using the old logo for the Acolyte to advertise jobs overseas, we're not sure what it means. Okay. And Sparrow is checking it out. He's going to try to find out, or he's going to try to figure out, or she's going to try to figure out, they are trying to figure out what is going on. Okay. So maybe it was a rogue employee. Maybe it was an employee that didn't get the message. Maybe they're just using it as a placeholder. This is Steph signing out. I'll see you around the galaxy.